Welcome back to Collectibles Unscripted, where we talk about collectibles, collections, and their collectors. I am here with Doogie Lish, and he is the CROC King. If you are watching, you can see it is the CROC King. And I am so excited. This is going to be so much fun. The world record holder for the most Crocs owned. Like, how does that feel?
It's so weird to wrap your head around that because there's like 8.1 billion people on this earth, maybe more, and I'm number one at something. It may be silly, but hey, it's number one at something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Doogie Lish, is that your real name?
My real name, first name Doogie, middle name Lish, last name Sandtiger. I wish I was a rock star. It's a rock star's name, but
My
I
God,
always said if my life and career never panned out, I can always go to, that could be like a rock or rap name or something. Who knows? I'm a man of many talents.
amazing. No, that's so cool, dude. So, we talked about your collection. What exactly do you collect?
I collect these awesome, what people think are rubber. They're actually not rubber. It's a foam patented material called Crosslight, but they're Crocs. The best footwear in the world, on the planet, in the universe, in the multiverse, everything.
I love it. I love it. How did you start collecting Crocs?
That's my favorite question because people who collect something, there's usually, I would say, 99.9999999% of the time, there's some interesting backstory that's usually personal. So for me, the Crocs was when I was a kid. I grew up in foster care, and a lot of people don't understand what foster care entails or what that means. But when you're growing up in the system, there's a lot of parts of your life that are forgotten. There's so many bigger aspects of getting through each day and aspects of daily living that the adults in your life kind of are focused on, and there's smaller things that are overlooked. So examples like, hey, do you have a doctor's appointment? Is there a court appointment with your family or with your foster parents? But then when those bigger things are there, they kind of overshadow things like, does this kid know how to do his laundry? Did you show him how to work a washer and dryer? Did you show them how to operate a microwave? But for me, there was a lot of things that were missed. Most specifically, which I hated as a kid, but now I've grown to appreciate it as an adult. I never learned how to tie my shoes, which seems so basic and so easy to most people because it's just automatic. You wake up or you're getting ready for XYZ, you slip on your shoes, you tie them real quick. It's not that simple. You're not born with this innate knowledge of how to exist and how to be a quote unquote regular human being, a normal functioning human being. So the shoelaces I never learned. It was just forgotten as you move from placement to placement, new city to new city, new home to new home. Basically, each adult in your life kind of gets this very vague blueprint of who you are. And it's not going to be like, this is Doogie. He is 6 years old. He is 8 years old. He is 9 years old. These are the things he knows how to do, doesn't know how to do. So, one of the things, shoelaces. As I got older, I kind of just ignored it. And the way I explain it to people, you ever meet a new person, whether you're at work or I don't know, maybe you go to the gym and you see the same person every time, and eventually you get on that little head nod relationship, and eventually you may say hi or what up to that person, but then you realize months and months down the road you never asked each other for each other's names. And then it gets kind of awkward because you're like, oh, no, I don't know this person's name. But then you don't really ask because that wasn't part of the dynamic. So that was the same with the shoelaces. I kind of just kept wearing slip on shoes. And back then, when I was a kid, like Velcro shoes and slip on light up shoes, those were super popular. And then as you get older, you got to realize, like when you're in high school, maybe wearing Velcro light up shoes aren't cool anymore. And then, kids start making fun of you. So I had to find the next best thing that I could sneak in and not admit that I didn't know how to tie my shoes and get away with it. And it just by happenstance, I was in my neighborhood. I remember walking around as, kids do, hanging out, doing my thing. And there was this old lady just in her garden. She was pulling some weeds out of the ground or planting some stuff, and she was wearing these really cool lavender Crocs. And I remember looking over and being like, "Those are so stupid looking, but I like them." Like, and they're silly. And I was like, "Well, let me try one. Let me try one." And that's where the legend grew. Got my first pair. I think that maybe that
Wow,
day, probably that
that's
week.
crazy.
Yep, was born from that lady. She could have been wearing anything. She could have been wearing like
When was
Nike
that? Like, what
slides.
year was that?
That was 2007. Like she could have been wearing anything, and I would have been like,
Wow.
"That's my thing." Dance.
Happenstance. Everything happens for a reason at a certain place and certain time, and that's proof right there, you know?
Yeah, I love it though. Like, you know
That's
what's funny
great.
too? Just everything happens for a reason. I'm not a tall, handsome man, and I'm 5'6", all right, and pushing 5'7" maybe when I'm wearing my Crocs. And I remember my whole life always hating that I was short, hating that I couldn't reach like shelves and things like that. But then I realized like the taller you are, usually your feet are a lot bigger. Crocs doesn't make a lot of like bigger sizes, especially with their really cool collabs. They usually cap them around a men's 9 or a men's 10 for like the really uh cool collabs and really interesting pairs. Every now and then they'll go bigger, but usually for the bigger sizes, it's very basic. And I hover between a men's 9, men's 10, depending on the model because they all run different. So that's another thing. I've like everything happens for a reason. I'm the perfect height with the perfect size foot because I can fit into any model they make, and I love it. It's meant to be.
I got you. Yeah, I hear you. Speaking of like big feet, like yeah, that's my problem. I'm a size 13 in men's. So
Jeez.
talking about Crocs, it's pretty. I have a couple pairs, but yeah, it's pretty hard to come by sometimes for sure. It's
Especially
just one of
Disney.
those
Disney
things where it's
pairs.
like, hey, like this pair sold out. Like
Yep.
yeah, and they get like really exclusive and like stuff like that too. So it's like, oh hey, they don't even go up to a size 13. They'll go up to like a 12 or something. It's like, come on, like people got big feet, especially nowadays too. You see bigger feet than ever. I feel like.
Yeah, and I'm so now again I'm learning as I get older I learn to appreciate certain things that I hated when I was younger. I always hated being just this regular average person and this average height, but now I'm like looking at it and like, see, I don't have that problem. Like I can any pair that comes out, I know there's going to be a men's 9 or a men's 10 and I know I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, and do those usually sell out on you pretty quickly, or are you usually pretty like up to date, or how do you keep up to date with your Crocs and the news and the new pairs and everything?
It's honestly this I call it the croc hunting phase of my life and it's taking or has taken a life of itself on its own. It's a full-time plus overtime job in and of itself. Like all day throughout the day, I'm hunting all over the world, different websites and different places and a lot of times like when I'm hunting across all these websites, they're not even in English and I only speak English. So I only know English. So I'm trying to get translations down and time zones down are a big thing. So I'm up different parts of the day and different parts of the night and I'm constantly looking at other brands and seeing, a lot of brands when you dig it deep into them, they'll have like on their websites like upcoming release calendars and they won't make it a super flashy event where they're advertising it. But like for example, Culture Kings is like a streetwear brand and they're more known for their online presence and some of the online stuff they do. But they have a collab that came out today actually, and it's really cool, but they're just not really advertising it at all. Crocs has not advertised it at all. Some of these like really cool drops are super secretive for some reason, and I think it's part of that market to drive the exclusivity and the supply and the demand. But like if I wasn't croc hunting, like on social media or on the internet, if you just Google Crocs or I Google like hashtags like Crocs or Crocs partner or Crocs drop, just certain keywords and key phrases, and I will go through hundreds and hundreds of pages looking at these keywords and key phrases of what people have either tagged or put as in their comments or their hashtag. Like even on Instagram, if you go in the search bar, you can type in like, so Crocs, for example, and it's not going to just show you everyone who has tagged Crocs. It's not going to just show you anyone who has put the like hashtag Crocs or hashtag anything related to Crocs, but it'll also any comment or any caption on any photo that contains the word Crocs will be included in that search. So I do that and I go through them. Like hundreds is being conservative. It's actually, I go through thousands probably a day. I'm on the hour, every hour. Certain times it's like hours in a row. I'm just searching, and then I always find these really cool drops, especially overseas, because obviously being in the US, that's one country, and I'm not a geography buff, but there's a lot more countries
Yeah.
out there than the US, so there's a lot of drops happening all the time. Even right now, as we speak, I guarantee there's more drops happening.
That's crazy. And so, like, when you're hunting for these Crocs and everything, and you're finding out releases and such, are there like pre-orders for these things, or you just have to buy when you can, or like, do you buy them instantly? How does that work for you usually?
So it's a multi-layered process. So most, I will say, of the 3,480 pairs of Crocs that I own as of this second, it's very rare that places will do a pre-order. And if my memory serves me correct, which I have a pretty solid memory because I could probably list all 3,480 pairs I have. But I think Crocs has only ever done one pre-order ever where they're, hey, this is what you order and you'll get it eventually. And it was whatever year the Denver Nuggets, the NBA team, won the NBA championship. I believe that was 2023, if like last year, possibly. It was either 2022 or 2023, but regardless, Crocs is based out of Colorado, and obviously the Denver Nuggets being in Colorado, they're not a huge market team. Like they're not like the LA Lakers or the New York Knicks or Brooklyn Nets, like these big market teams.
Yeah.
So Crocs did this whole new NBA collaboration and NBA drop, but they only did like the big teams. Miami Heat was there, Boston Celtics, etc. So I would say there was only like maybe 10 teams that they did. One that they didn't do was the Denver Nuggets because no one knows how that's going to sell. No one was a Denver Nuggets fan until the year they won the championships. When they did, Crocs did a special edition commemorative drop for the Denver Nuggets for that championship, but they only did it via pre-order. So of course, obviously, I jumped in on that. Um,
Gotcha.
some some smaller brands will collaborate with Crocs, and I've seen a couple times, maybe literally a couple, like once or twice, a pre-order. But most of the time, it's this drop is happening October 23rd at 11 a.m. like Pacific time or Mountain time or Eastern time, and I live in Eastern time, so I always have to
Yeah.
do the conversions. And there's a lot of times a drop will happen my time like 3 in the morning, and so I'll have to set an alarm because this other country, to them it's a regular time, and now I'm beating the traffic there, and I'm beating the traffic of the other collectors that are trying to get it. Or on the other hand, Crocs will do like lots of just like surprise drops. Like last night, perfect example. It was around 2 a.m. Eastern time. They just released a bunch of like random pairs, like upcoming, preparing for the winter. But there was also this one pair that was a collaboration with, I had never heard of the dude. He's big on YouTube, I guess, and he has the second largest YouTube channel in Mexico. He's based out of Mexico, so he's like a big influencer down there. So they released his pair overnight in the US it was overnight. So who knows what time it was in Mexico? It could have been like a regular time. It could have been like
Yeah.
10 a.m. or noon or something. But this is why it's a multi-layered process.
Yeah.
So I have to like find out when these drops are happening. A lot of them are surprise. I have a calendar of like, all right, this pair is this date, this time, this date, this time. But again, it's no different than, hey, setting having a calendar with appointments. Like when I knew I was going to be talking to you today, I had you on my calendar. So the only difference is with the Crocs, I'm just like, this is this drop at this time, you know. So and I just continue hunting them and
I
buying them,
gotcha.
and
I gotcha.
I keep going, man. There's no end in sight.
I hear you. No, I hear you. And there's so many coming out, like you say, each and every day. And there's a new one, and there's surprises and stuff. And yeah, I've seen you in the comments before on some of my Croc stuff, like even on my page personally. And it's like, this man's here. He knows what he's doing. He's popping off, and he's really doing what he wants, you know?
I'm and
So how do you keep
always
up,
searching.
you know, like you keep up with Crocs and you're going. Yeah. And you're going and like so how do you keep up with like do you like what is your occupation? Like if you don't mind, like what's your field? If you don't mind me asking, to
Yeah, so
afford all of
people,
this.
yeah, people don't realize like outside of collections and like all the social media stuff I do, I actually am a real person with a regular job. And I actually went to school for social work. I'm a social worker currently, and I do a lot of stuff with that. And it's basically like I'm wearing these two different hats, like social work, and then once that hat comes off, just content creators, what they call it for like for Meta, for Instagram, Facebook, Threads, etc. But I love how my life started like just taking these innocent photos of Crocs, innocent videos, just daily wear, daily pairs I got in, and then it just kind of blew up to what it is now. And to me, it's still fun. So even though I'm spending hours and hours and hours every single day with my Croc stuff, whether it's doing photo shoots or taking photos or doing these interviews or podcasts or news programs, to me, it's so much fun and it's so much different than like my regular career. And I don't consider this really work because there's that stupid cliche where it's like it's not work if you find something you really enjoy doing. And honestly, before all this Croc stuff like got as big as it was, I was doing this anyway. You know what I mean? Like the only difference now is that a lot of my posts have gone viral over the years, and now I have the most Crocs in the world. But prior to that, nothing has changed. I'm still doing exactly the same things and posting exactly the same. And I think it's actually kind of funny because I'm like, if you look at my Instagram, my photos, I don't use filters. I don't use fancy lighting. It's kind of just like supposed to be real, and that's what I like. I like authenticity, and it's always been here's my little phone, where and
Yeah.
you know, boom, 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 take a picture, and that's it. Like it's just so simple, and to me, that authentic piece
Unreal.
is what draws a lot of people in. And it's just like, I don't need all this fancy production and I don't care. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like simple and I love it.
No, I love your authenticity of it, you know, you as a collector and everything for sure. And like you said on your page and everything, you show off all your stuff all the time. It's something you love to do. You're having fun with it. It's like what how is this a job, you know? Like so that's great. That's great to see and great to hear always from these collectors.
That's part of it. That's part of the fun of it too, is like showing off that collection and mingling with not just other Croc collectors, but for me, over the years, I've learned to appreciate collectors of all kinds. And I remember it was 2 years ago, I filmed an episode with Two Chains on his show for Most Expensivest, right? And there was just seeing for that season that I was on, the theme for that season was collections, and just seeing what other people were passionate about. You on the outside looking in, it looks weird. And I guarantee years ago, before I had this collection, I would have been judgmental. I remember there was this one guy who had like I believe the world's largest collection of Pez dispensers. If you remember those little toys that with the spring loaded
Yeah.
candy. And to somebody who doesn't understand the psychology behind collecting, they're just like, that is weird. You're a grown adult and you're collecting these candy toys. But it's also like, okay, you don't know why, the who, the what, the why, the when, the where. And if it like my thing is if what you're doing in life, if it's bringing you joy, and maybe it's bringing other people joy. Maybe you're not intending on bringing other people joy, but that's an unintended consequence of your collection is that other people gravitate towards you and your collection, especially if they're in the same community as you. Then who cares? Let people live. Like if someone wants to have the most Pez in the world, so be it. There was one guy on the same episode as me that collects disc golf, which I didn't even know was a thing. And for people who don't know what that is, it's basically they're like frisbees. It's this sport called disc golf, but the like in baseball you have like bats and stuff. They're instruments, I guess you'll call it. They're like these little frisbee things, and he collects those. And I'm like, that's his thing. Hey, who knows? Maybe when he was a kid, he had a relationship with his father, and maybe every Saturday, maybe his dad worked 6 days a week. And maybe on that seventh day, that Saturday morning, was their time to bond together. Maybe they went to the disc golf course and played together. And maybe those are fond memories he has. And maybe he lost his father, and that is what he remembers the best. And those are his good memories. You don't understand the psychology behind it. You don't
Yeah.
have to. Just know that people like what they like, and it's okay.
I love the passion, man. I absolutely love the passion. It's so great to see and hear from you and everything. It's one of those things where you talk about memories. What is your favorite memory, in this collecting realm of Crocs for you?
Man, I mean, there's so many good ones. So favorite moments, which are also intertwined with favorite memories, because there's not one huge grand memory of this collection that sticks out more so than the other. Obviously, there's the bigger moments like being on these shows and things and showcasing them, which brings me more exposure to show more people. But I think honestly, my favorite moments and or memories is just my day-to-day interactions with people. Like I'll be at the grocery store, I could be wearing like my SpongeBob Crocs, and all the like kids are running around like, oh my god, it's SpongeBob, and people get happy and they smile, and parents get happy that their kids are happy. Or like I could be anywhere and someone else will be wearing Crocs, I'll be wearing Crocs, and we have that moment where like we pass by each other and we're like, hey, nice Crocs, love it. Or even like when I do bigger events, I wear the Mischief collab with Crocs, which are the big yellow boots, and those are an
Yeah.
absolute hit. It's phenomenal. Like depending on where you go, some people are like, what? Those are weird. But then generally most of the time, people are laughing, they're enjoying it, they're taking pictures of the Crocs, or they're taking pictures with me with the Crocs. And just that snapshot in time, like just seeing people's heads like explode when they're just like, what are those? And it's all in like fun, and it's all just
Yeah.
positive interactions with people, with the community, and people. I don't know, it's just like when you see that excitement on people just for that split second when they're enjoying the Crocs with me. And it's not even just always the Mischief big yellow boots. It's like whatever pair I'm wearing, people get happy. And even like, so Pringles and Crocs collaborated fairly recently within the I think it was the last few months. Maybe my timeline's off, but
A couple months ago.
yeah, it was fairly recently. So one of the collaborations I believe there was four. There was two different classic clogs. There was a pair of slides, and there was a pair of boots. And the boots are these ridiculously ugly looking things. They're like these crush boots. So they're platforms, and they have like this leg sleeve that can roll up or roll down with the Pringles logo, and then has all these like tactical attachments like a military vest. I don't know if you've seen them, but on the sides of the boots,
Yeah, no, I have, yeah.
You have them,
I've seen
okay.
them.
So
They're nuts. They're nuts. Absolutely nuts. I've seen them.
And my favorite attachment is like it's like a koozie, like like what you hold a can of soda in, but it's for a can of Pringles. And not only is it a can of Pringles, it's this exclusive flavor that you can only get by getting that pair of Crocs. It's called Croctail, which is obviously a play on cocktail. But I just remember going out to like a bar one evening wearing them, and I took out the this limited edition Pringles, but I reloaded the koozies, the side attachments with just like a plain regular flavor, and just seeing people's reactions, they're like, that is the silliest thing I've ever seen. And then I remember one complete stranger was like, are those real cans of Pringles? Like with actual food inside them? I was like, yeah, they are. He's like, kind of hungry. Can I have some? And I was like, yeah, dude, this is great. So he just like leaned over and popped open the Pringles and started grabbing snacks. He's like, these are my munchies, man. Thank you. I was like, I got you, brother. I got you.
Oh my goodness. Would that be the ugliest pair of Crocs out there then?
There's a lot of really ugly pairs, but like, I kind of like liken it to like, sorry for the parents out there, but newborn babies are ugly. So like, when there's a newborn baby and people are like, oh my God, they're so cute. They have your eyes, blah, 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 blah. They're just a baby. It is what it is. But like, Crocs, there's so many that they're so ugly that they're cute. That you're just like, oh my God, what is this? I love it, but I hate it, but I love it. But there are quite a few, and I will say the Pringles one, because they're practical, they're less ugly. I guess it adds to its like spunk a little bit. They're more silly than ugly, but there are some pairs like there's just new pair they just released. It's the Siren model, which is kind of like a platformy heel pair, but this specific one is called Doodle Siren, and I can't even explain it without you looking it up. But it is probably one of the ugliest pairs out there. It's the heel platform chunky, but it's fuzzy on the outside with these like I don't even know. Think of like a golden doodle, the dog, and its fur. That's what it looks like. It's wild. It's a wild pair. There's a lot of
Speaking
wild
of
pairs.
collaborations and stuff, McDonald's has collab with Crocs. How is the hunt going for you on these toys?
And now, so this is what upsets me. It's like I remember back in the day, you could go to McDonald's and be like, "Hey, I don't want the Happy Meal. I'm just here for the toys. I want to buy my kid a toy." But secretly, the toy is for me. Like, I'm not going to tell them, "Hey, I'm a grown man. Give me those toys. I'm buying them for my toy collection." But no, now they're a lot more strict. You have to buy the entire Happy Meal. And not only that, but they don't let you choose, which I'm like, that's so silly. Come on, just how about I don't mind. Listen, you want me to buy eight? Because in the United States there's only eight. There's 10 total. There's two that are exclusive overseas to other countries. For some reason, they're not giving them to us over here in the United States. But when I'm like, if that's the problem, I'll buy all eight, but can you make sure you put all eight separate ones in there? But they're like, no, we can't sort through and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like one by one going to different McDonald's and getting, but it's okay because if I get repeat keychains, like I'm just using them for other things. Like I've started using some as like earrings. I also make like jewelry, like gold chains where I put like baby Crocs on them. So these are perfect for the gold chains. And then also
Nice.
like Crocs makes a lot of other stuff like backpacks and
Absolutely.
purses and things like that. So it's going great. I love it. I love it. I have they released alongside those keychains. I don't think a lot of people realize this, and they're not advertising for some reason, but they released another clog like collaboration, like footwear, like actual adult and size one, like not just a keychain. And they released a corresponding pair of socks with it. So a lot of people know last year they released a bunch of different collabs, but with this drop, there was another one that came out that people don't realize, and it's actually really cool. And the gibbets are really cool, much cooler, in my opinion, than the last group or batch of McDonald's collaborations that came out. And then even the socks, they're really ugly, but they match so well with the pair and with the outfit. So I ordered those. Can't wait till those come in. I'm excited for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So Crocs in socks, practical or not?
I'll be honest, everybody is different. This is a judgment free zone here. I'm always a Crocs with socks kind of person, and for me, it's more of like a touchy thing, like a tactile thing. Like I want the socks on; it feels more comfortable, and also like it prevents sweating. Like you got to figure the material that they use, just like any shoe. Like the whole point of socks is to help with the sweating factor. And a lot of people are like, why are my Crocs squeaky and why do they smell? Well, if you're more prone to sweating, not everyone has that issue, but if you're more prone to it, you're gonna sweat, they're gonna squeak, and you're gonna smell. But I like it also for the fashion
Yeah.
sense too. Like when you get like a cool funky pair of socks, match them with your funky Crocs. To me, that's part of like the everyday fun of dressing up in Crocs, especially because within the last couple years, Crocs started making socks. Like prior to that, they never did. Now that they do, I love that because I would have to buy like random socks of random brands and then try to match them. But now that Crocs does it, makes it my life so much easier. And it's Crocs brand, which I love. So it adds to my total collection, which with the 3,480 pairs of the footwear, my collection extends way beyond that because it's like the socks and the apparel and the backpacks. And like you said, the McDonald's keychains. So all these like toys and these trinkets and anything that's Crocs branded, I collect total. So if it has Crocs brand attached to it, I'm gonna get it. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna get it.
That's great. That's awesome, man. No, that's so cool. What would be the hardest pair of Crocs that you had to like get, basically? Like, no, how can I say this? You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, so like
What was the
hardest or
hardest pair to
rarest.
buy or obtain for you?
Yeah, that there's so many, and actually, that's a perfect question because you asked me to maybe showcase some. I have one which I'll showcase right now. So if you could see, this is the Takashi Murakami collab. It actually came with the bear gibbet that those came with it, but the other ones you had to buy separately. There's also a little ghost that came in the 3-pack, but like it's so tiny and awkward that it always pops off. So I keep it off because let me explain how these came about. So for people, a lot of people don't know who Takashi Murakami is, but he is like a massive, well-known artist out of Japan. He does not just regular contemporary artwork, but also apparel and his designs. And even like, again, so referencing the bear, a lot of people might recognize that for just like pop culture. If you remember, Kanye had did a lot of work with him. That bear was on his, I believe, graduation album and was a big part of the artwork for that album. But he also like does designs like even for like other like non-name brand like Walmart. You could go in Walmart and see like a graphic tee and you'll see those designs on it and people don't put it together, but that's Murakami. But anywho, so he is very highly sought after for his art, and I would liken him to like Banksy in the United States. Like Banksy's mysterious and super hard to collab. Like no one collaborates with Banksy, but Murakami comes along, and this was, I'm going to try to get my dates right. 2019 was when this was a super duper limited drop, and it was only available Complex Con, which in that year I believe was in Chicago. And Complex Con, for people who don't know, is another one of those conventions. It's a streetwear, a culture, a sneaker convention, all kind of combined into one. And his booth was invite only. Not only did you have to get to Chicago, get tickets to this Complex Con that sold out, you also couldn't even buy a ticket to his booth. You had to get the invite to go to his booth where it was limited to not even maybe 100 pairs. That might be even me just giving the extra benefit of the doubt. And then from there, those extra gibbets packs. So what made it really hard for this collaboration for collectors like myself, it's like pretty much they were only available to a specific niche of people, and in the collection world, these people buy them out when they know that there's going to be such high supply and demand, and then they sell them for crazy prices. Even now, how many years ago was that? 19, 20, 21, 22, like 5 or almost 6 years ago, maybe going on 7 possibly. They're still going for thousands of dollars. I see them periodically and listed $2,000, $3,000. I like to have extra gibbets packs. So I bought the pair of Crocs
Yeah.
plus 2 gibbets packs, one for each shoe or clog, however you want to call it, and then 2 backups. Total, I spent $3,600 total on that, and it just the hard part too was all these years trying to find my size too, because there's no guarantee that I'm gonna find my size. And then the last piece is not only did I want my size, not only did I want the Crocs, not only did I want the gibbets, but I wanted the brand new pair, not a used pair, because for big collaborations like these and rare pairs, they come with really cool tags on them, and they also come in either really cool bags or really cool boxes. So I wanted it brand new because I wanted all of that. And to me, collecting these is not just the Crocs themselves, but it's the accessories that come with it, which includes the tags, which includes the really cool bags, which includes some of the gibbets that come with it, or the separate packs that you got to buy to make it a whole complete collection. But like, I love the bags, the funky bags. When a pair comes in a special bag or box, that just like lights me up even more, and I get more excited. So this is not the rarest, but given the circumstances of how to acquire this pair, it was very difficult, very expensive,
Yeah.
very hard to come by. But I made it work.
Got it. Yeah, man. No, that's awesome. I think the hardest pair I have, and I'll show you because I brought them with me too. These, you can see.
See? The box. It's part of the collection.
They're Demon Slayer Crocs. They were supposed to basically only be released at New York Comic Con. Nobody was really told how it was going to work, if it was lottery, if it was only in person, if it was going online. Like you said, these things, they don't tell you these things. You have to find out these things from either people that are there or like some insider or like a leak or report or something like that. So, as a collector, I understand what you mean, and the rarity and stuff. So those are pretty rare to come by. I overpaid a little bit for them, but it wasn't like anything crazy. But then they came out like on the site, but then they sold out like instantly, like in my size and everything like that. So yeah, that's the Inosuke pair from the New York Comic Con Demon Slayer wave that they had. I think it was last year. And I got really lucky with those, that I had somebody there to pick it up for me, just in case they didn't come out online, because we had no idea if they were or not.
Yep. So that was, I believe, October of last year, and I almost went. I was like considering going all the way to Comic-Con just to get them, but then me being the croc hunter and the detective that I am, I found out that eventually they were going to be on the Crocs website, but a lot of people didn't realize. But prior to that, there was this very small, like, few day window where they were exclusive to Foot Locker. And so I knew that. I had that little morsel of information. I'm like, okay, they're going to be on Foot Locker. I'm going to go in because nobody knows this and they're not announcing it. And I snuck in, grabbed all my pairs from Foot Locker, sold out honestly that day. And then I beat the lines. I beat the hype when it went to Croc's website, which you're right. When it went to Croc's website, it sold out immediately again, especially in like your size. It's much bigger, so they don't make a lot of them. So that's why it's unlucky, because then there's going to be a bunch of you said size 13, right? A bunch of size 13 people that are like, oh, I need a few. And that may be all that they made.
Yeah, no, it's true. And like that like I have the Naruto Itachi pair also that was exclusive to Foot Locker, but the first wave wasn't exclusive to Foot Locker. But so I wasn't sure if the second wave was going to be type thing. But the Itachi pair of the 13 sold out everywhere like instantly. They didn't say if they're going to be in stores or not either. So it was one of those things where it was like, crap, I'm out of luck here. Size 12 restocked, And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna put socks on and wear these in sport mode, and that's it. You stretch them out as much as I can.
Dude, I totally like. There's a lot of times you correct. Like I'll have to side. That's why I said like. So my base size in classic clogs used to be a 9, but actually 2023 they introduced a new I call it recipe, but they changed up whatever the composition of the crosslight foam is and material, and they went fully vegan last year. So I don't even know what that means. How like how you go vegan in rub like these rubbery foam shoes, but maybe there was like some sort of dye in them that was made from animal byproduct. But I noticed the transition prior to 2023 when I was in classic clogs. I was always a men's 9 and they fit comfortably well. But then when they changed the recipe for it, I went up to a men's 10, and which is more true to size. Prior to Crocs, I was always like a 10 and a half. And then I remember many, many, many moons ago reading up on Crocs, and they're like they run a little bigger and they stretch. So if you're a 10, you should probably get a 9. And they don't make half sizes. So if you're 10 and a half, 11 might be too big, so maybe try a 10. But then I remember trying a 10 and it was still too big. So that's when I had settled on the 9. But then I soon, shortly after, realized that there's hundreds of Croc models out there and none of them run the same. And that is my only complaint. I like even the other day, I made this big order for like, I think it was like 10 pairs. And I had posted, I think, a screenshot of the order. And if you look at the screenshot, you'll see that of the 10 pairs, there's a variation of there's so many different sizes from men's 11, men's 10, men's 9, and even women's 11 for women specific pairs that a women's 11 converts to a men's 9. So it's just silly seeing all these different sizes and knowing that they're all going to fit me.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, no, you're right. And there's so many different types of pairs of Crocs. It's not just the classics anymore. And I totally get that. You said they're in socks, they're in shoes, they got accessories, all this stuff for collectors like yourself and, like fans to collect. Do you wear all of your pairs?
Listen, I try to. Now think of it this way. As again, as I'm speaking, I have 3,480 pairs, which that's going to go up because I'm going Croc shopping. I know this weekend it's constantly going up with new drops. But so with those 3,480 pairs, I only have one pair of feet, so I can only wear so many. And I try to shuffle through them and cycle through
Yeah.
them. On a given day, I could wear anywhere from like 5 to 10 different pairs. Like there's a pair I use for like lounging around the house, and then when I go outside to walk my dogs, I'll swap out for a different pair. Say I'm going to the gym, I'm going to swap out for a different pair. Say I'm going grocery shopping, I'm going to swap out for a different pair. If I'm going to work, I'm going to swap out for a different. So like I'm constantly cycling through them, and I try to get through all of them. There are some pairs that I won't wear uh, because they're strictly, in my opinion, more art pieces and art installations. The perfect example I'll give you is there's this streetwear brand based out of New York City called Alife New York, Alife, Alife. Several years ago, let's go back to maybe 2018, they released this collaboration. It was this commemorative pair to commemorate New York City. And the gibbets were these just gigantic, massive gibbets that were meant to kind of immortalize these specific New York City landmarks and staples. Like one of them is like, I think like the Manhattan Bridge or one of those iconic bridges out there. One of them is the Statue of Liberty. And there's all these iconic Empire State Building. There are all these massive 3D big gibbets, and the bridge one, it's so massive that it goes across both pairs. So just to like give an example, so like it would like start on one end and it goes all the way to the other and it connects them. And I liken it to, the way I explain it is, it's like if someone has shoes and you tie their laces together, like you can't walk in them. They're not like, so to me, sure you could take the gibbets off, but then it's taking away from that piece of art. And those were marketed as an art pair. And so there's a lot of pairs like that, or like there are certain pairs that just aren't practical to wear. Like, and I'll give you another example of that is Crocs has done dozens of collaborations with Balenciaga, which is obviously a super high end fashion brand, designer brand, and they make high heel stilettos. Which, if you don't know what those are, Google them. And I remember I'm like, I bought them. Not only are they super duper expensive because they're Balenciaga, but me as a man wearing stilettos doesn't make sense. And I remember I tried them on just to like pose for a photo. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even stand up. And I remember like doing the prep work for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna walk in them and be silly, and then I couldn't even stand for a split second. So I did the photo shoot laying on the ground. That's what it was.
That's awesome. No, that's really, really cool. That's really, really cool. So we talked about so much stuff today. How do you maintain and store all of these? That's what everybody wants to know, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, all the time. And so one thing, number one, is I keep a log of every pair I get, and it's pretty detailed. It's like, what color is it? Because I'll give an example of this. I like to give examples to give perspective. It's like, okay, red classic pair. Crocs probably has 50 different red classic pairs that range from like, to the naked eye, it's hard to tell the difference between them. Like, there might be a pepper red, and then there's a fire engine red, and then there's a fire red, and then it just keeps going and going, and there's neon red, and then there's dark red, and then it just, there's so many. So I log every single pair, every single model, every single like whatever they list as the colorway or the collaboration, everything about it on this like very massive spreadsheet. And also part of the picture taking, that is also for me, so I know also like it helps me identify which pair is which one I got at which time, because it time stamps them. So I'll be like, oh, when did I get this pair? And because I'm ordering so many and hunting so many at so many times, so I try to post them as recently and as relevant as possible. And storage wise, so it all started years and years and years ago. Like I would get like shelving units, and obviously over time I outgrew those shelving units because I went from 50 pairs, 100 pairs, now to nearly 3,500 pairs. So the way I have it, picture like a library. You go to a library, you see like they call them stacks. They're those massive rows or stacks of books. So I ended up converting my basement into what I call the Croc Cave, where it's just all these massive stacks of Croc after Croc after Croc after Croc. And then eventually, once my collection started getting like crazy expanding, I was like, okay, so now that I'm using these as art, let me start installing like different art pieces around my house. So like in someone's house, they may have like a painting hanging up. Well, me, I have like shelving with different pairs hanging up and different pairs on different shelves, and like that a life pair that I referenced a little while ago. Like that's like on a mantle where it's just like it's a cool New York City theme. And now I just basically the long term goal is to be. Remember the story, the old lady who lives in a shoe? I'm gonna be like the old man who lives in a Croc, where like I want my whole
Yeah.
entire house to be Croc themed. Like I want Croc furniture. I want Croc living room sets and Croc tables. I want a Croc couch. I want everything to be Crocs. I think that would be hilarious. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll build a new house when I want to move again, and I'll have the architects shape it like a Croc. Who knows? We'll see how far this goes. But everything is stored good. I do also
It'll
for like
happen. It'll happen, man.
yeah, definitely. That's what I want. That's what I want. It's my dream. It's my dream. Dream big.
That's great. That's great, dude. With the pairs like the Jordans and stuff and those type of shoes, not wearing them deteriorates them. Is that the case with Crocs or no?
In my opinion, I'm going to go with no. And I think there's not a big enough sample size because like the specific material that they use, I've heard about it. I've looked it up and I've like seen like how people like if they don't wear them like something about it starts like eating away and corroding, which to me is insane. That especially given how big of a brand the Jordan brand is, and how expensive those are. Like even retail wise, they usually retail around a couple $100 if you're lucky to get them for retail, which a lot of people got to get them resale. So if you're dropping $800-900 on this like really cool pair of Jordans and they're just gonna wilt away over time, to me that's so disheartening, and I wouldn't even entertain a collection like that. But with Crocs, because of the material that they are, think about it like you drive a car and you got like the rubber tires that maybe weather will affect it a little bit. It might stretch out a little bit or shrink a little bit if you don't treat the conditions and treat them properly. But the Crocs, I've had pairs that I wore 10 years ago that I haven't worn since, and they're still in perfect condition and nothing has changed. They're not warped in any way. Obviously, there's like some pairs that might have gotten crushed in a box because I took too long to unpack it. But the cool thing about them is the material is very easy to contort and manipulate. Like if you use the boiling water method, like say for your example, you had that pair that was a size too small. Some people, if you boil water and you leave it in there for maybe 20-30 seconds, and then you pull them out real quick, and you say you have like make sure you're prepared for this, have like 5 pairs of socks on, and then you shove your foot through it, and then it expands it because the heat kind of expanded the material, and then it'll conform to your foot. The dryer method also works, but then I also tell people another tidbit, another little Easter egg about Crocs: do not leave them in your car or on like your front porch that is exposed to the sun, because yes, they are made of like this rubbery material. Like what happens when you leave a basketball outside in the summer in the corner and you're not using it and you're not taking it out of the sun? It's going to deflate. Same with like a football. The weather conditions are going to affect that. But I imagine if you have a collection, you're not leaving it outside. So it's not like the Jordans where they're going to fall apart. But if you don't treat them right, or you leave them in certain conditions, yes, as long as it's not thunderstorming in your basement and you didn't steal the sun out of the sky and put it in your basement, your Crocs are going to be there for life. They're going to be okay.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool tidbit. That's really cool to know. Man, I appreciate it. And your time and everything. I'm gonna hit you with a lightning round. We're gonna go with, okay?
Sure.
So these will just be really quick answers. We'll go from there. So lightning round: sports mode or regular?
Sports mode always.
Okay. What is the best pair of Crocs?
Best pair of Crocs? That's a trick question. They're all the best.
What is the best color of Crocs for daily outfits?
For daily outfits, if you're trying to match, just go with a plain black pair. There's so many different plain black pairs. Black goes with everything.
Anime or cartoons?
Can we do both? Can we do both? I do both.
We can do both. Absolutely. All right, we could do both. Why not? What's an activity you would not wear Crocs for?
This is lightning rounds. It's hard to answer it quick, but it used to be hiking. I'm an avid hiker. That's one of my hobbies outside of Crocs. However, over the years, Crocs has made a lot of pairs that are practical in nature, and now I wear Crocs on hikes. I used to have a pair of hiking boots. I retired those. Crocs only now.
All right. What would you name Crocs if they weren't called Crocs?
I would name them maybe alligators, because they look, if you look at it, that's why they call them Croc. It kind of looks like a crocodile or an alligator. Who can tell the difference? I couldn't. If I saw an alligator and a croc next to each other, I would think they're either both alligators or both crocodiles. Who knows?
I got you. All right, and the last one for you. What's a franchise that needs a collaboration with Crocs?
Jeez, I mean, there's many. Does it have to be a franchise? Can it be just any collaboration? Like, man, I would love to see a collaboration with Linkin Park. They just got back together. Like, that would be sick. There's a lot of other, like Taylor Swift. What? I'm a secret Swiftie. Yeah, I said it. Now it's on record. I would love to see a Taylor Swift pair. And then other places like it would cool now that they're doing fast food. Burger King, come on! You know how crazy that collaboration would look with all with the King mascot, and I just imagine like so many cool gibbets on that thing. So there's a lot of like artists and brands that I think would really be cool to bring together. And then I'm biased to Post Malone. He's like one of my favorite artists of all time. He's already done a handful of collabs. What's one more? Come on, let's do one more. Now that he's doing country, let's do a country Post Malone collab.
That's awesome. I agree with that. I would love to see that. I'd love to see a Taco Bell one too.
They did Taco Bell. They did too. You missed that one.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right about that.
The slides.
You are right about that.
They were.
I did.
I'll give it to you. They didn't look
do
like.
Do they have a Baja Blast?
It wasn't Baja Blast. It was like a nighttime color themed. It was like a mellow slide. It was black with this like deep purple hue to it. And then they had another pair that was like very limited to like friends, family only. It was a PR pair. It was the same model, the mellow slides, but it was like a sunrise version where it had like this nice like sunrisey color orange with like this other like bluey purple. They're really cool. If you're into slides, not everyone's into slides, and they don't look like your iconic Croc, but if they made a Taco Bell like clog, yeah, heck yeah, I would love that. That would be awesome. Live Mas, as they say.
Yes. All right, Doogie. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on Collectibles Unscripted. Thank you so much for showing your passion, your authenticity for your brand and the Crocs that you collect along with it. And I just want to say, if you want to follow his socials, is Doogie Lish on Instagram. Doogie Lish going to be on collectibles.com app. We'll get you signed up for that real soon to show off your collection there. And it's just going to be so much fun. And thank you so much again. I hope you all enjoyed listening to the CROC King. The CROC King. There will be no one else like it.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.